It is Thursday. It is about 12:45, January the 21st, 2021, and we have came here to file our records request that we picked up the paperwork for the other day, but how you doing? Thank you. And we are going to the second floor. There's Mr. Bill Brittian. And we're going to go up to his office. Now, I picked up the forms yesterday for the records request, but we are going to make them verbally, and we are not going to give them ID. If they want to see my ID, they can see my ID, but if I push the button, going at 1, that's why it didn't work. If they request my ID, I will show them my ID without showing them my name or my address or any other information, just that it is a state-issued ID with my picture on it. How we doing today? Good. I'm here to file for my records request.
All right, that with me, Trish is not here.
Okay, actually, I want to do it verbally.
What is it?
It's a few different things, but this is all the records requests that I have for the entire county, so I can't give you this. If you'd like to take a photocopy of it, that'd be sufficient. Now, like I said, it's not all for this office, but anything that you can fulfill on that.
I don't know if we can fulfill all this. Did you take some forms with you yesterday to fill out?
I did, but I decided I just want to do it verbally.
I mean, verbally. What are you saying? So you're wanting us to verbally give you this information?
No, I want to make my request verbally.
No, I'm not.
It's this guy again. One that thought he was going to step up to me the other day. Hey, what is your name? And your position here? You don't want to identify yourself?
No.
Okay. I'm going to find out here shortly. Within the next 7 days, that's for sure.
If we're going to have to give you papers with this information on it, then you're going to have to fill out a records request.
Well, I want to inspect them first.
Well, I have to make a copy.
Oh, that's fine. No problem. And what is your name and position here? Please don't erase that video. I'm going to FOIL request that right now. It is against the law to erase that footage. How you doing today, Mayor? I wish I could say it's a beautiful day out there, but the weather isn't cooperating. Notice all the name tags are gone. Somebody must have been Johanna Harris's friend. Seen my video. So is that your wife you keep coming and sitting by over here? You keep coming from the other office. I mean, I'll match up last names. I mean, that's pretty intelligent when it comes to that.
Okay, may I ask you some
Sure.
questions? Sure. If I'm
Excuse me.
understanding, pardon,
This is yours.
Thank you.
if I'm understanding this correctly, and I'm just asking you that.
Yeah.
Snowstorm data.
Yeah. I want the air temperature. I want pavement temperature.
Now, and let me just,
Go ahead.
because I picked that one out in particular. I'm just going to say, as a whole and in general, this office doesn't maintain those records.
I understand it. No problem at all. I'll go to the highway department.
That's what I was going to
Thank
say. But, you know, and that's what I wanted to get clarification on some of these four.
Some of these aren't for you. This is my list of what I need to accomplish today. And they're just all in one paper. And I told her when I handed it to the lady over there that you were not going to be able to fulfill it all. This is just, instead of me doing it verbally, you guys can make a photocopy of it.
Right.
Whatever you
And,
can
you know,
fulfill, you fulfill.
And really what you've done, and I'm going to, let me say it this way. You've got the bones of a request right here. You know, and the reason we do that is that so we make sure that we know what you want, so that when we give it back to you, you know that's what we've tried to have a meeting of the minds.
I'm expecting back in return.
Yes.
Yeah, I appreciate this cordial conversation. That way,
And that's
yeah.
what I'm trying to determine. And then let me say this to you too. On certain things, it's not that you can't have the information. Please don't take it like I'm trying to say it that way. I'm not. There's certain information like this. The Hamblen County employees. You're entitled to that information. Let me say that right off the bat. But we don't have one particular report that might have it. You're wanting to inspect, but we have to generate a report before we would have something for you to. It's not like we can go to a file or a book and pull that out.
So you don't have a database of.
We have a data, that's what I'm saying, but we have to generate the report before there's anything for you to even look at. So that kind of, am I making any sense with that? It's electronic.
Okay.
It's not,
Yeah.
maybe I'm saying it better that way. Electronic rather than.
So has that information not been processed year to date for last year yet? Is that?
What I'm saying is that it kind of falls in, and I'm not trying to be argumentative, and I'm really not, because you are entitled to it. I'm not trying to avoid that in any way, shape, or form. But we pretty much have to run a copy of that information for you. So it falls kind of in this standpoint of a record request, because it's not, we differentiate between what you can inspect is something that's already prepared that we can just lock the records out there. They're laying out there and you can look at them. We don't have to generate anything.
Most of the records I will take on after I inspect them, but I don't need 100 pieces of paper that have 3 letters on there. You know what I'm saying?
And that's not what we're
Right.
even at all trying to do.
Right.
Well, let me, and I don't, if you've left your information, contact information, or we'll leave it. As we gather it, we can let you know that it's prepared.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's
and
fine.
then if we don't think it's something that we're that it's like here.
You just get back to me, and it's like I said, it's not all for you. So if there's something that's a different department, I plan on already going there.
And then,
anyways.
And then I did see this right here. I wanted to make sure I understood this. I must provide ID to enter the city center.
Well, at the city center, and once again, that's not for you. That's not
what
not
I
for
wanted
you.
to make
Right.
sure that
that's not for you.
Because people could, I mean, you with the best intentions in the world, you might be calling one of the courthouses the city center. I didn't think so,
No.
but I wanted to make sure.
I learned my lesson about 5 or 6 months ago of all the different entities that fall up underneath each of the city and the county, and it took me a minute to grasp a hold of it, but I think I got there.
Okay, but what will work best for us, and I think maybe just as well for you, if we get your information so that we can contact you, because we have so many days to fulfill this, or to let you know if we can't. So that's all I'm.
Sure,
really,
I'll leave you an email address, and you can get a hold of me there. And
okay, that would be very helpful. So we will go through here, try to figure out those things that we feel like that we have here, and then we will direct you.
Okay.
Also, I mean, if you to the office where the request should be
well,
made. If it's like the highway department.
okay, so I'm going to go to the school board when I leave here. The Hamblen County School Board bus department and the highway department. I would expect that those 3 need to be requested in those departments themselves,
yes,
correct?
And I think you're right there.
Okay.
But I wanted to clarify that. And let me just go back and say I haven't always worked in Hamblen County, and if you want me to tell you who I am, I'm not adverse to doing that.
I mean, you're telling the people. I mean, this is for the public. This is for
my name's Ann Bryant Hurst.
You seem like you're a really nice lady trying to do your job, and I respect that.
And then we are. And I've worked in county government for years, not just here, but in other counties. And so what I'm saying, I'm accustomed to filling out requests and sometimes trying to make sure we understand what's being asked for and how we can provide it.
Okay.
And sometimes it's not like, well, we can't do it immediately. And let me say this, and all the stuff that's written about open records. When you say inspect, offices are supposed to be open through their business hours.
Yes.
For you to inspect. But that almost comes up with the idea that the information's already prepared, that you can walk in and say, let me look at this.
Right, if it was in a folder, binder, or database or something like that.
But we could, if it's printed on things that aren't, we're going to have to prepare you a report. And that's not that it's wrong, but that's just what we have to do.
Well, if you can get me whatever information is available, anything that's not, we'll work on when the time comes, or when you can get it. I'm not in a dead rush for a bunch of this stuff.
And that's helpful to know too, because we will try to provide it within the time frame. And like if we had like an official request, or if we want to handle this in an unofficial way, but we still have to go. And that's one of the reasons for a request. It's not to provide, not for you not to get, but it's like, okay, we have so many days to provide something. And if we document with your agreement that we're on the same page that on the day that you came in and requested, then we know our obligation, how many days we have to respond. And then and then we know it's kind of like we have that process, then we know exactly how to provide you like the timely response.
Right.
That, if you can come in and walk in and inspect it, we can do that. If it's something we have to generate, then we've got to have some time to do that.
I'm not looking to come in here and barge through your all's records and stuff. I did that in the city.
And so many times you can do a lot of stuff.
No, you can't.
Okay.
It is. It's great. I mean, it's openness of the government sector, and that's a fabulous thing. Sometimes it's more of a headache, or to the employees.
Right. And what we're asking for is not to keep you from getting the things that you should be able to get, but it's to give us the proper process to where we can say, no, we couldn't get that, and you can see how we respond in a formal way. So if you had to go back, you've got it documented too.
Yeah.
From that respect, and that's really I guess the biggest point I'm trying to make. The request is not to be burdensome to you.
No, and I don't feel like you're being burdensome at all, none at all.
And it's to provide, and if you don't mind us getting a form, just so we can, and you can put on it what you want.
Well, you can fill it out.
Will that be okay?
You can fill it out.
And then
That's absolutely fine. I mean, because the paperwork states that, I could come in here and verbally do it, and I've had people write it down themselves, because you have to have adequate document. You have to know exactly what I'm looking for. You're not going to memorize it. I understand that.
Right. And then we have to know, and it gives us the framework for when we're supposed to respond, because there are certain official forms, I'm going to say, like if we don't have something, because if you ask us for things, but we'll tell you, no, you can go to the highway department, or but as long as that kind of.
I understand that 100%.
And that's
do what you can do for me, and we'll figure it out.
That's really all we're trying to accomplish. Do you have a form that I could use to write down, like your email address?
Sure.
I mean, Sherry has them. I'm just asking for it. All right. So, thank you. Do you, and I'm not trying to be offensive, but do you mind telling me your name?
Yeah, I do mine.
Okay. Okay.
I'll give you my email address.
All right.
It's Lakeway Audits with an S @gmail.com.
Do you have, is this like an accounting group, or is this just the name that you think?
It's just me.
Okay.
And to add to that,
now,
go ahead.
Have you presented your driver's license?
I'll present it to you when I come to inspect it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And are you a Tennessee citizen?
I am, yes.
Okay. And I'm going to say here, and I'll let you read everything I've written down.
Oh.
Okay. Will be presented at, I'm just going to say at time of inspection or when records are delivered.
Okay.
Does that sound?
Yep. Now, you are aware that I just have to show you my ID, right? Mayor Brittian was supposed to call and verify all of that. I don't know if he did. Can we go and see if he's available for...
Well, let me get this first.
Okay.
And that's why I said here, presented.
Yeah, that's perfect language.
And then... I'm just going to say, for this sake, for on-site pickup or inspection.
That's fine. That's fine.
We're not trying to. We're not trying to be tricky with that.
I mean, if you want to email some stuff over there so you don't have to see my face again, that's up to you.
And we'll go through that list and just see kind of what we've got. And then I'm going to say records requested. And I'm just going to say provide a detailed description of the records requested, type of record, time frame. And I'm just going to say attached.
There you go.
And then, and I'm going to say, I know, it comes by writing. And I'm just going to say here, if I have any questions, we will call to clarify.
Email me. I'll respond.
If there are questions, we will email for clarification. Okay. Now, since you won't sign, I'm going to, what's today's day? Is it the 21st?
Yes. About 1 p.m., 1:10 p.m.
County Mayor's office.
So I'm going to put here that it's requested here.
Yes,
And then normally we have you signed just to show that you know what is written down. And then when we provide it, that's to show when you've gotten it.
Well, I'll just take a
picture of it there. And,
See, the camera never lies.
oh, that's
It's always got a
not
date on
always.
it.
Well,
All
true,
right.
but things can be manipulated. But I'm not arguing about that you're trying to do that either.
Let you know everything that I post is in its entirety. I don't want nobody to say that anything was cut or nothing.
And I'm just going to say requester does not wish to sign except now when records are delivered.
Are they willing to give you some?
And you can see that too.
All right. I need to add one request to that.
On this list here. And now if you would write that down.
Well, you could write it on that paper. Right.
Well, since I've said see attached, let me
Okay.
just put it here.
I need this lady's name, and I need a FOIA request that video that she's taking.
What now?
The lady that's video recording right now,
Okay.
I need her name, and I need to FOIA request that video. Just the video. I don't need every picture and every video she has on there, even though I have the rights to it since she's using the phone in her official capacity.
Name of video recording, in-person video.
So she in turn can request yours?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because
She's
being
a
that
private citizen.
then she, if she's a private citizen, then she has no right to mine, and I have no right to hers.
Then why are you videoing us?
Because I have the right to video record my government officials during their official capacity. So if she doesn't work here, then I don't remember your name, but that's okay, would not be able to request that from her because she wouldn't be working here. But if she is an employee here, I'm allowed to get that. As a matter of fact, I can FOIA request all the information on there, the entire database. So if there's anything on there that she wouldn't want shown, now would be my opportunity to get that. But I'm not here for that. But if I don't request that from her, you all will never learn. This is an education here. It's a free education. That's truly what it is. You might think it's funny. And the problem is where it starts is the person who hired every employee in this building should have notified them that it's okay for the public to come in there and photo or film any point in time, as long as the doors are open. Now, that is what the First Amendment is all about. That's number one. That gives us the right to do this. So if we don't exercise our rights, whether or not it's as petty as everybody thinks, we end up losing it. Okay? I don't know if you're aware what happened at the committee meeting a few months back when Commissioner Howard Shipley violated a bunch of people's rights that went to that meeting just for wearing a shirt that he didn't approve. That's a big deal. Okay? When you have somebody that high up violating people's First Amendment rights, and you have a city attorney, a county attorney sitting in that same office, not doing anything about it and just letting it go, he's making money off of every lawsuit, after every complaint that gets filed. Why would he say anything? But he's getting paid to sit there. That's a waste of my money. I'm not in business for my money to be wasted by the government.
And how long have you lived in Hamblen County?
13 years.
Are you from Hamblen County?
I'm not. And that's why I understand the big difference between a big city and a place like this. And the nice thing about a place like this is that it's so small that everybody knows what somebody else does, and everybody knows someone else, and everybody talks. So these videos that I'm taking make a much, much bigger impact in a community like this than something that has 1 million people living in it.
Did you do this type of thing from where you came from?
I did not. I've done this. I've done this for my own personal records the past few years. But the reason why I've started a YouTube channel, a Facebook page, is strictly because when I found out that Howard Shipley violated their rights, I thought that was ridiculous for somebody of that magnitude to do something like that. So I understand that there's a circle a group between the commissioners and the mayor. And I didn't find out until yesterday that Howard Shipley is brother-in-law with Mayor Brittian. I did not know that. So this is just what I was told. If it's fact, it's fact. If it's not, it's not. Haven't checked in on it. I mean, I can ask him. Maybe he'll tell me. But if that's the case, I can understand why this is going in the direction that it is. Have you ever been to any of the commissioner meetings?
I have.
When the public is allowed to get up there and just speak, and I've done that probably 5 or 6, 7 times here in the past few months, I get up there, I make my point. I didn't get the attention of the commissioners till the last meeting before the new year that I went to. I had every one of them looking at me. That's the very, very first time. And I made a very good point. But the second I sat down, the very next thing, it was like nobody that went up there and spoke had anything to say positive or any questions. Nobody answered anything. There was no back and forth. And if the public is going to be able to go and speak their mind and confront the commissioners, we should be able to receive answers, whether or not it's that meeting or the following meeting. But if you just say, hey, you can come and speak, but you get no answers, what's the point of speaking? There is no point, because it just goes in one ear and out the other. And the next official business on the line, that's what it's about. And it can't be like that. It cannot be like that, because I have even the right to film on any public property. So if I feel like standing in their place of employment on the sidewalk, there's nothing they can do. Their house, there's nothing they can do. I went up to Tim Goyne's place. I didn't know he sold it. Went over there yesterday. I spoke to the new owner. He was a great guy. But there you go.
Well, anyway, this is what I've prepared.
Okay.
We'll email you back.
Okay.
And after we have a chance to go through what's on here.
Okay. Sounds good.
And now I'm very willing. You wish me to make you a copy of this?
Sure, go ahead and make.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll take a copy of it. That's fine. So I don't understand why everybody's name tag today is missing. When in the policy, y'all are supposed to identify. Doesn't do anything. People could just ask your names in public records.
Pardon, did you say something to me?
Yeah, I can't believe all the name tags are missing. That's crazy to me.
What?
The name tag that was there, the name tag that was there, the one that was there, the one that was there, they're all gone. But meanwhile, when you take this position, you got to stand up to a little bit higher standards than the private sector.
And I want to tell you, we feel that we do.
I'm not saying you don't, but I'm kind of really disappointed that the name tags are missing. I really am. I mean, because I should be able to know everybody's name. Yes, I believe that's within your rights too. But I'm going to say this, and I'm going to, in the spirit of being, I'll say open with you. When you come in like this, it seems intimidating, and it seems confrontational. Now, you've talked very politely and straightforward with me about what you wanted. And I've tried to be that in return. You have. No, you've been professional. But in case you don't know, when you come in with this, it seems intimidating and confrontational. Not that to say that you don't have the right. I'm not trying to make that point or not, but I'm just trying to tell you how people feel when someone comes and puts a camera in their face. Most of us are not accustomed to that. I don't care any circumstances. No, I understand. But I would run from the camera from a personal situation. But it's different these days than it was like back in the 80s when video cameras were first coming out. People would jump in front of those cameras to be videotaped, and it was a big deal. And now it's like people want to run away from it. But I'm not here just to record my transaction with you. I'm here to show the people, the public, hey, if you want to come in and make a public records request, don't think you have to give your ID. Don't think you have to write it out. That you can come in there. These are laws that are on our side to help us to do these.
But, and I'm going to say back, the writing out of things helps us know when we fully answered your request and document it on both sides. It's not a trap.
No. Well,
People,
it's not.
a trap.
It's not a trap. It's not a trap at all. But see, if I go and I write up a request, right, and then I bring it to you, and it's not written 100%, you don't understand, you got to change it, right? So if I just come in here and I verbally give it to you, this is what I'm looking for. You could ask your questions, you could write it down, how you need to write it down.
Still have to get back with you just to make sure that
right. So it's a little bit easier on the public to just come in so that they know that what they're trying to ask for is going to be what they receive. So number one, it doesn't waste your time. And number two, they're not getting information that they're either not asking or the wrong information, right? So by being able to speak to somebody and, hey, this is exactly what I want. Well, this is available. This is not. This is what we could get you now.
As I go through this, I will try to respond from that spirit.
Perfect. I appreciate it.
And that's all I can say right now, because I have to go through this and sort through on some of the things. And again, it won't be me fulfilling all of this; it'll be other folks that have the responsibility. But we'll try.
Sure,
But that's all. That's all that I wanted to communicate from me personally. I will say is that it does seem seems intimidating, and I understand. I'll be honest, I'm not sure that's not exactly how you want it to seem. You've talked really nice to me, but it seems to me that you're coming in with this in order to present an intimidating stature. We will get you what you want, whether you intimidate or whether you don't.
I appreciate it, but
just so you know that
sometimes, and I'll be 100% honest with you. Everybody that's in this office, every time I walk in here, even with this camera in my hand, which it'll be every single time I come in here, it's in every government building that I will be in, and at every time, I will always be 100% cordial. I have absolutely no ill will at all. But if I can't get to my higher officials and find out what's going on, unless I can come in here and get these public records, right? And unfortunately, the mayor's office is in your office, right? So if the person that I want to speak with or get information from is the mayor, when I come in here, I'm not here to make you have a bad day at all. And if you talk to any of the other people that do public records requests, they will tell you that I'm 100% cordial with them every single time.
And we appreciate that, really do. But I'm just telling you how we feel about the camp.
I understand, but you got to see from my point of view, right? I came in here yesterday and I had the door shut on me. If I didn't have the video, could have been something that said that maybe it was something that I did. I touched somebody. I did something, right? So this never lies, right? The body camera never lies. So my thing is that, if I don't do anything and somebody says I do, I have no proof of that, right? But if I have a camera, I have 100% legitimate proof that I did absolutely nothing. And I need this in order to be able to stay on top of my game, because what I'm getting ready to do, there's a lot that can come from that, right? There's a very, very fine line between going to jail and not going to jail. And I'm not going to jail. So I need to ride that line perfectly. And if somebody decides, not this office, but another office decides that, hey, the cameras are too much for them and they want to call, I need to be able to back up that, hey, I went in there. I did what I had to do. I didn't get in anybody's face. I didn't touch nobody. I didn't harass anybody. But if I don't have this, it's hearsay, right? And now I've got to go through the whole line of going through courts, okay? So as long as I stay right where I need to be and I don't cross over to do anything unlawful, anything that's done adverse to me is a violation of my right? That opens up the government. So not only do I need it for my own backing of just to make sure that I don't get in trouble, but I need it as proof of anything that I find. Okay, I'm not looking to do anything like that, but I need to be able to hold the accountability of my public officials because we pay you, right?
No, but
One way or
yes,
another,
but-
even
but
if I
citizens-
even if I go and I buy something at the shopping
But-
center, right, and I pay taxes, some of that goes towards your pay. So we're not here for the people trying to just do their job, but in order to do my job, I have to go through you, right, to get or the records custodian. I'm not going to come and sit behind your desk and hang out and harass you. I mean, if you guys want a pizza party next week, I'll order some pizzas and we can hang out. But that's not, I just want to get my paperwork that I need to get and go from there. It's
And then
it's
we'll
the
let
beginning
them
of a long.
Take this and we'll see and we'll process through what we think is the part that we're responsible for.
Okay,
And
that's all I'm
we'll-
asking.
And we'll get in touch, and then you can ask questions about that.
I appreciate it. No, if you have any questions, email me. I'll try to get back to you as quickly as I can. If there's any of that you just want to send on over to me, that's easy to just send. I mean, obviously, you can either send me hers via email or you can put it on a DVD and I'll take that. I mean, whatever you want to do. But just the video that she's got there, nothing else.
And then we'll look at all of it and see what it will take to get you what you requested.
Okay.
And explain if we don't or what you might need to do to, whatever. We'll do our best
Okay.
with that.
I appreciate it.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, ladies. Hey, Mayor, can I ask one quick question? Did you ever have a chance to call and find out about the records request or no?
What?
No.
Oh, I was going to say if I needed to answer the question because he's been on the phone.
No, he's good.
Almost the whole
Hey,
time we've been
I appreciate it. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Hey, and you shouldn't try to intimidate people. And it usually doesn't end too good.
Well, and I don't mind saying something to that. And I wasn't aware of. Let me say this: I wasn't up here yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Tuesday.
When you were here. Again, acknowledging your rights as a citizen. We have at times had people, and don't be, that have come in very angry or on the edge of angry, and I will say maybe seem to be somewhat unstable, and we've been afraid. Tommy, I'm sorry, but is trying in this way to help us feel safe. You're using this to make sure that you can record anything that's appropriate. I mean, that you've not done anything inappropriate, and in turn, anything that we might do. But there are times when we have felt threatened.
But de-escalation is the best practice.
And I believe that. But there's sometimes just the feeling that, because most of the time it's just us ladies in here, and I'm not trying to say again that you can't ask for the things that's appropriate for you as a citizen to request. But if we are fearful,
I was going to do work all over more time.
sometimes it's nice to know that there's somebody here too. And that's all I'm trying to
No,
indicate.
that's fine. I agree. I would want somebody to protect my wife and my mother, my daughter. For sure.
And that really, I think, is a motivation, not to necessarily scare you or keep you from doing anything you want, but to make sure that if something went off the rails, that we had somebody here that would take up for us. And I'm not saying it ever would with you. I'm not saying that.
But it was never to that point at all. I thought I was going out to have a cordial conversation with the mayor, and then he turned around and tried to squirm his way back in the door. And then he looked over there at Tom, and Tom got up and walked on over to me like he was going to shove me out of the door or he was going to try to do something. And, you know, I'm sure his side intimidates people. I'm not intimidated at all. But the mayor was standing right here. So instead of looking at him and him jumping up and trying to run on over here to not even help the mayor, because the mayor was in no harm at all, the mayor could have handled that situation, no issues, and we could have moved on. But now I'm being almost threatened, like, and that is even more of a reason.
Well, you're, and remember, in turn, we felt somewhat threatened too, I'm sure. Again, like we're saying, this seems to be somewhat intimidating, and you've clarified your stance on this, and I'm not arguing with it at all.
No, I'm not here to argue.
But just remember that sometimes if it is intimidating, that people feel like they need to protect themselves. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, just as you know, probably if you're getting into request, like if you request information about law enforcement officers, it's protected information not to give out their addresses.
Right, their personal information.
Yes.
Correct.
That's by law also,
Mhm.
because sometimes a law enforcement, they're perceived as sometimes being subject to retribution.
Right, and I didn't ask for none of that. So, and I understand. I know what the limits are, and I wouldn't even. Why do I need an officer's home address? I mean, that's ridiculous.
And then, but until there's that comfort level of knowing how that we can deal well together, then there's just sometimes some fear. And I'm not trying to, again, I'm trying to be ugly. I'm trying to actually express to you why that. But if once we establish that we can work well as far as getting you the information you want and so forth, we'll do that. But just remember, sometimes things aren't always as easy on this side.
Your job's not easy, and I understand it.
And that's all that we want to be safe. We want to be safe.
No, and that's great. And I'm surprised y'all don't have any kind of cameras in here. I mean, listen, do I need to donate some cameras? Seriously, I mean, this is the mayor's office. There should be some type of video recording going on, whether or not it's just one camera that gets the whole room.
We may take that under advisement, but I can't answer that.
I mean, that would be great. But you know, coming from a man, okay, I've very rarely have I ever had anybody in my lifetime try to stand up to me like he did, right? And then I had the mayor 6 inches from my face poking in my face at my camera. So that is intimidating on me as well, right? So now that might escalate me a little bit because they're escalating the situation. Doesn't help you. I'll give you one instance, and I'm going to be out of your head real quick, okay? I went to the Morristown Utility Systems, okay? I went in there to do a records request. I had my camera, okay? The lady at the front desk called up. Next thing I know, 3 guys come down, okay? Security, the director, and I believe the guy underneath the director, yelling at me to give my ID, and what am I doing here? And all they did was rile up and make the lady that does the public records that much more intimidated. Because she called me up as soon as I got back in the truck and said, please come in here. Just you and I will talk. You tell me what you need. And I explained everything to her. Am I blocking you away? I'm sorry. So they made her job more difficult. I had nothing to do with that. I just wanted to go in there, give them my request, get my photocopy of it, and be on my merry way. But when 3 guys come down there, one wanting to video record and take pictures, and I FOIA requested that. I know exactly how much they all make, and a lot more than most people make. And that's what it comes down to. I mean, why escalate something that you don't know needs to be brought to any kind of attention, right? I mean, it's just a camera. That's all it is. It's just a camera. You pass by hundreds of cameras on the way here to work. That's all it is. It's just a camera. I mean, you watch news, right, on TV. If it wasn't for cameras, you wouldn't know anything. This is what gets that information out. And that's the only reason why I'm here. So, thank you all.
Okay.
You all have a pleasant night. Well, I appreciate you all joining me for that. You can come in, you can make your records request. You don't have to give any ID. You don't have to fill out any paperwork. I was nice enough, I had everything already printed up, but I mean, it's a list of things and some of it's pretty detailed. So, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here, and I've got to go to the city center and make a records request, and I have a few other places that I need to go, and the highway department, the bus department, and the Hamblen County School Board. No particular order. We'll see where the truck turns. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. I need 1,000 subscribers so that I can go live. I need to be able to go live to keep people informed when we start going and doing more audits. Luckily, I spoke with Sheriff Jarnigan. I don't foresee having any issues out of the sheriff's department as far as recording and trying to violate my rights. I think we'll be pretty good with that. But once again, thank you. There's a lot more to come. Tonight, there is the commissioner meeting. I don't know if I'll have this posted or not by then, but I will be recording the commissioner meeting. I will be stating my intentions to the entire commissioners of video recording them and auditing them. So for today, with the mayor, or actually just a few hours, because he'll be at the meeting and I'll be addressing that, and I'll be informing him that our our private conversation that we had on Tuesday is 100% public. And if any of these government officials think I'm going to turn my camera off for them, they've got something else coming, because without the camera, there's no accountability. And that's what they need. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching again.